Okay, our next writer, the one with the entourage. Kimberly Gotches is currently the Public Relations and Adult Program Associate at the Geneva Public Library, where she also co-facilitates the Night Writers Workshop. She is a member of the Society of Children's Book Writers and Illustrators and tells stories at the Illinois Storytelling Inc. open mic events. She participates in galleries or for Writers 2, a workshop held here at Water Street Studios, and she's going to be teaching a creative writing class also here for kids called Take My Word For It beginning in January. A version of Under the Branches of My Family's Tree, which is what you're reading, correct, was a winner of the Intergeneration 2013 Storytelling Contest. She uses this story to teach a writing workshop for teens and adults called Special Objects, Symbolism, and Family Stories. Kimberly enjoys connecting people across life stages through the literary arts. You can find more information about Kimberly at kimberlygotches.com. Come on up.
I have to use this because I'm Greek and I talk with my hands, so. Well, first I just want to say thank you. We're so lucky to have Waterline and Ann and Kevin, and I'm so grateful to that. And as he said, my passion is intergenerational relationships, and I think that comes from my family, and I hope some of that will come through today. This is the first time my mom and stepdad are hearing this, and it's a thank you to them, so this is special for them. The only thing you need to know is that Yaya and Papu means grandmother and grandfather in Greek. Now you're ready. Truth from the branches of my family's tree. Before I was a month old, Yaya placed me under the branches of my family's tree. It was December 1983, and I've heard the story so many times I can almost remember it happening. Yaya slowly lowered us both to the floor and bundled me in the tree's soft skirt. A porcelain bell seemed to float near on the nearest branch, and she gently tapped it, humming while it jingled. Scents of her pasticho cooking and the tree's pine needles embraced us. Yaya's face was just an inch from mine. The lights behind her orange hair made it look like a halo. She whispered, "Sweetheart!" Sweet, high and shrill, heart, light and airy, resonated deep within me. Smelling pine reminds me this was an imperfect memory. Before I was born, Mom bought her artificial tree. She had suffered through years of terrible allergies before she married, moved, and acquired pine-free relief. Mom is known as a quiet fighter in our family. When she was 18, she didn't tell anyone she was in pain until her appendix nearly burst. Her legendary line, which led to Papu rushing her to the emergency room, was simply, "I have a bit of a stomach ache." We all knew exactly what Yaya thought of Mom's fake tree. She told the same story every year. When I was a little girl, our neighbor worked for Adis Brush Company. He designed fake trees with the material they used to make toilet bowl brushes, she said, wagging one finger and waving the other hand like she was conducting the Greek symphony. "We know, sweetheart," Papu would say and wink. "You told Mr. Adis you don't want to think of cleaning toilets on Christmas." Our family lore is full of the trials and tribulations that Papu survived to get Yaya her perfect trees. He would travel from St. John's tree lot and up the 3 flights of stairs to their apartment several times. I can just hear poor Papu stomping up the stairs, lugging the tree behind him. I picture him looking up to see Yaya shake her head and wag her finger at the top of the final flight. Bold and protective, Yaya was the first woman in my Greek family to be born in America. Family meant everything to her. She once poured red Kool-Aid over the head of a blonde boy who was bullying her children. Once I came along, her only grandchild, her protective powers were supernatural. One time, her car broke down in a snowstorm on our way to my first performance in St. John's Christmas play. She put the car in neutral, checked I had my hat and gloves on, and then we pushed that car together for 2 miles and made it to that church. I remember the Christmas Eve I was 5 years old. Yaya and Papu had visited and gone home. I was up late, sitting by the tree and holding out hope for Dad to read me a story. Mom read my favorite picture book version of The Night Before Christmas. During her third reading of it, this time using different accents on every page, my eyes finally became too heavy and I let her guide me to bed. Around midnight, I was woken by heavy footsteps and a thud. Santa! I slipped my bare feet onto the floor and tiptoed into the hallway. When I entered the living room, my eyes settled on a huge heap on the floor. All those presents. I put my hand over my mouth to muffle a shriek of glee. Mom appeared next to me and flashed on the lights. I blinked and rubbed my eyes. Instead of a pile of presents, I saw our tree lying on the floor. It was flattened like someone had sat on it. The halo from our angel topper was cracked in half. 2 golden crescents strewn atop shattered white lights that twinkled like stars. It was like the sky fell too. I didn't do it, I said. Maybe Santa knocked it over. Dad lost his balance again, Mom said, staring at one of his bottles on the table with the milk and cookies. The sound of snoring coming from the tree broke our silence. Dad was sleeping on the floor. Mom started shaking and leaned against the couch like it was holding her up. I had never seen Mom cry. I tried to pick up the tree to make her stop, but it was too heavy and my hands were too small. I called out for Dad to help, but he didn't wake up. Stay away from the glass, Mom said. She stepped in front of me and gently took the tree in her arms as if she were hugging it. She raised it up and waited while it wobbled like a toddler before its first steps. A single strand of white lights remained lit, and a scattering of ornaments clung to the branches, trying desperately to hang on. I went back to my bedroom. The last thing I saw before closing my door was Mom, shoulders sagging, sweeping up the broken pieces around Dad. I thought she was sad about the tree. I didn't know Dad was struggling with addiction. I didn't know the word divorce or that our family was about to break apart. All I knew was that the tree was fragile. Dad would walk by and brush against its branches. When it swayed, all I could do was pull my knees to my chest and hold my breath. I didn't want to be the reason that it fell. But it did fall, again. This time, Mom asked Dad for something to hold it up. I don't know, look in the garage, he said. I covered my ears before the door slammed behind him. The garage was a scary place. Winter had become extremely cold, so mice camped out there. My misguided memory is of huge rats the size of my head. But Mom was like Clara in the Nutcracker, braving the Mouse King and his troops. I watched her go in with her head held high. When she returned, she marched to the tree and wrapped thick white rope around it and through the curtain hook. In my eyes, she was a hero. Before the next Christmas, Mom and I moved in with Yaya and Papu, and Dad stayed behind. When I'd ask why he didn't come too, Mom would go into the bathroom. She'd run the sink faucet, but I could hear her cry. Sometimes I'd tap on the door, but I never knew if she heard me. I was too afraid to tap louder. Our tree made the move with us and brought joy to us all, including Yaya. She even stopped telling the toilet bowl brush story. For the first time since they'd married, Papu did not have to buy Yaya a tree. I think he liked our artificial tree best. Papu had become sick with cancer. He was too weak to decorate the tree with us, so he sat in his favorite chair to watch. Yaya fluffed the branches meticulously, pulling apart the bristles and standing back until Papu promised he could not see the tube in the middle. Mom unwrapped ornaments from tissue paper, and Yaya and I alternated ahs and oohs. We all ahhed for the porcelain bell that managed to survive the many falls. By some miracle, our tree stayed standing that year. It was like it knew how much we needed it to be strong. The following year, Mom started dating a man named Rick. He witnessed the next tree falling. Mom cried in front of all of us. Rick looked shocked and escaped out the door. I covered my ears, yet there was no loud slam. The door remained open. I listened to his footsteps travel down the 3 flights of stairs. I was the one who heard the footsteps travel up the stairs. Rick came back. He had a toolbox in one hand and a piece of wood in the other. Testing his power drill with determination, he immediately went to work. He screwed the tree stand to the wood so firmly it looked like it would never move again. Yaya looked at Papu and nodded her approval, something we all knew was almost impossible to get. I think Papu knew his daughter and granddaughter were in good hands. He passed away 6 days before Christmas. The last year we had with Yaya, she was struggling with dementia. Mom bought her a real tree and carried it into the nursing home herself, sniffling and tearing. I told Yaya the story of her placing me under the Christmas tree. "Sweetheart," she called, right on cue, the sound of her voice ringing and resonating like the porcelain bell she'd given me. Sometimes the stories we tell rise above our fragile memories. Mom's tree has been passed down to me. After everything it has been through with us, I like to imagine what it would say. I think it would commend Yaya for welcoming it, her daughter, and her granddaughter with open arms. It would thank Mom for holding it up. She may be a quiet fighter, but her actions resound. It would forgive Dad, assuring him there were men who took good care of his daughter when he couldn't. In honor of the strong women in my family, I decorate my tree with garland made of rope. In honor of the strong men in my family, I stand it on Rick's piece of wood. I am no longer afraid that it may fall. We all go through times where we may be wobbly, and sometimes we fall multiple times. But I know when I fall, I have the strength to get myself back up. And I know that I have support, a lot of it, when I can't do it alone. Since the very first day Yaya laid me under the branches of my family's tree, this truth has grown inside of me. Thank you.
Nicely done. Even tearing me up a little. You know, I think I'm going to try this, do this with my, no, forget it.